This is my journey to becoming a streetball legend, day 129, 130, and 131. So after being out sick for 2 weeks, I've decided to kind of readjust my training schedule for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, just depending on how it goes. So to start off, for the next probably 6 weeks or so, I'm going to be just slowly building my time in the gym back up. So starting with Tuesdays and Thursdays, go and do my normal 4-hour practice. And then the other days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm just doing my ball handling and then going for a run. So I've started running a mile again. The reason I'm doing that is because my shin splints had been healing up nicely. They hadn't been bothering me as much lately. And so I want to keep that trend going. So each week I plan on increasing the amount of time that I'm running. It'll probably start with the amount of time I spend in the gym by an hour each week. So starting with about 10 hours or so this week, and then 11 hours next week, and then so on and so forth. Eventually, once I get the time in the gym where I want it, I will also start increasing the amount of time that I'm just actually going for a run. So right now I'm running a mile 3 times a week. Eventually, once I get my basketball and my on-court time where I want it, I will start trying to run every day. And so I'll probably start with Tuesday and run a short distance and then just gradually increase it. So since I hadn't been able to do anything for 2 weeks, my stamina was down just a little bit, but my percentage on my shooting is also down a good bit today, because again I haven't touched a basketball in 2 weeks. So that was I guess to be expected, but I've been working on my shiftiness a little bit more and working on getting low shin angles and just getting lower to the ground. And something that's been big for that is a lot of people, they'll practice crossing the ball over, and then after the crossover they'll touch the ground in front of the ball side foot. And so I had done that for a while, but what's actually helped recently is instead of just touching the floor with like the tip of my finger or something, I'm actually getting my full palm down on the floor, and that was huge. And so when I started freestyling, I think it was today, I was noticing that I was actually getting lower to the ground, and that's something that I hadn't been able to do kind of naturally in the past. Like I'd really have to think about like, oh, I'm not getting quite low enough, and then try and get lower. But I felt like I was getting a lot lower more naturally after I started doing that. So obviously, as you can tell, I also was struggling with some behind the back dribbles. I think just in general, honestly, I struggled a little bit more today with everything. But again, honestly, not that surprised. This wasn't, I had been out of the gym for 2 weeks, so it was a little unfortunate how all that went. But I got got today out of the way, and I'm gonna just keep working at it and get back to where I was at. At the same time, I am excited about it because around August or September of last year, I was able to run or practice in the gym 4 hours every day, plus come home and go on a 1.5 mile run and do all this. And so I'm excited about getting back there, and I think this is a good first step to that, is to kind of slow down and just increase my time gradually so that I'm able to stay healthy while I do that. So I have changed my form shooting just a little bit, and I've doubled the amount of shots. So I'm actually making 200 shots instead of just 100. And so what I've started doing is I start just a couple of feet from the basket, making 10 shots. Then I take a big step back, and same thing, 10 shots, take a big step back. And so I'm doing that at 4 different distances. And then I'm doing it at 5 spots. So uh, both sides of the basket, and then kind of the elbows, and then straight on. So 5 spots, 4 distances, 200 shots total. The other thing is I've really been trying to focus on putting more arc on my shot, especially on these close form shots, and then keeping that going, keeping the arc on it as I step back further. I think it's been helping to do that lately. And again, like, changing my shot a little bit, getting the kind of my gather down lower, kind of at my waist and my hip height, is making it a little bit more difficult for me to make my shots right now. But I'm very confident that over time, and just hundreds of repetitions, thousands of repetitions even, that I'll be able to get my percentage back up like it was before I made this change to my form. And here are the numbers for my form shooting. So 73%, honestly, I was pretty happy with that, all things considered. So after that, moved on to working on shooting at my spots. One thing I'd have started doing a little bit different on some of these I guess like warm up shots for my spot is that I've stopped just taking them so statically. Like I've started kind of moving around a little bit, taking different types of shots, like some step backs and stuff, side steps into it. And so then after that, on the one dribble pull-ups, I've actually started really putting some more effort into it and not just giving like one jab step and then going in for the shot. And that's actually true for not just the one dribble pull-ups, but also the runners and floaters and stuff, is that I've started really putting a lot more like effort and emphasis into like how I'm going to attack to get to the basket. The only reason I wasn't doing that before was because of my shin splints, and I was trying to not run or jump like too excessively in my workouts, especially because I was doing them every day for 4 hours. But so, now that I'm adjusting my workouts just a little bit, getting into trying to be more game-like and more realistic on how I'm shooting. And then the last thing that I worked on is just some post moves. Got a couple different shots. Obviously, my backing down form, I guess, it doesn't look super good. And I wouldn't expect it to, because I haven't actually backed people down really ever. So I know that once I start doing it in games a little bit, and kind of get a feel for like what it really feels like to back someone down, there's me twisting my ankle. But once I start doing it a little more, I know I'll be able to kind of replicate that more in my practice sessions and get it more realistic. So, but I have been really trying to focus on these turnaround shots. That's something that I really want to try and utilize. I think would be good for me to use that close to the basket. So the last thing that I worked on before my camera died was the spot at the elbows. So again, same thing, just took some warm-up shots first, and then went into the one dribble pull-ups and the float shots. Again, still kind of looking for some different options out of that. I don't necessarily love just having these, I guess, really two options, and it's the one dribble pull-ups or the float shots. But what I did also focus on doing a little bit differently today was not being so fixated on trying to only shoot from right on the elbow, I mean, like where the lines are at, and instead being a little bit more loose and just kind of shooting in that general area. That's something I noticed in games, is that I could get to that area really easily, and I wasn't always looking for the spot. I wasn't always just looking to be right at where the lines meet, but just kind of in that area. So just replicating that in my practice, and then same thing, one dribble pull-ups, and then we went into the floats. So here are my total numbers for the day. All in all, it wasn't great, but I wasn't all that surprised by it, and I'm not discouraged by it. Um, you know, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get my stamina back up, and I'm gonna just keep improving. So this is the path that I run. Again, I'm running this 3 times a week right now, um, and then after that, just lifted for the day, and then went and focus on my recovery.